Standing on the bridge, joining Castleconnell to Clare, one is only too well aware of how important it is to the people of this community. They're up in arms at a recent report that has come out to say that this bridge is dangerous and that it needs to be closed. At this moment, while I speak, you have members of the County Council sitting in meeting with the manager to see if they can do anything to keep it open.
We're about to go in to meet the county manager to see what he has to say. I was at the meeting the other night, a very well attended meeting. I got the feelings of the meeting, very strong feelings. There is the safety aspect of it, and that has to be looked at. But what we would hope could be done, that some remedial works can be done while keeping the bridge open at the same time. I would emphasise that safety is very, very important, and that the county manager has to go with that. But we are hoping that the funding can be found immediately and that the work can be carried out along with keeping the bridge open. Well, according to the consultant's report, and after all, the consultants are experts, it is in a very dangerous situation. And I know it is, the water is not as high, but they are still concerned, and their recommendation is that it can't be allowed to stay in the condition it's in.
Noreen, the meeting of almost 250 people at the Castle Oaks the other night brought forth to everybody's attention the importance of this bridge between two counties. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That bridge has been a link between two parishes for over 50 years at this point. It's used on a daily basis for people going to Mass, for people particularly on the Clare side coming over to use the shops, the buses, the train going from Castleconnell to Limerick. You can't put a value on that bridge.
People are even coming over to work on the Castleconnell side.
Yeah, indeed they are, yeah. It's used widely. Like I say, it's a connection between two parishes for the past over 50 years, and it simply cannot be wiped off the map as easily as that.
Well, I'm very concerned about any rural community, Sean, that are in danger of losing any services. It would seem that the people on the Clare side particularly, but the people on the Castleconnell side also, are in danger of losing a valuable and a viable part of their lives. We have been told that old people coming across to collect their pensions, people coming to the dispensary, people coming to the school, this is their everyday life pattern that we're talking about, and we cannot allow an erosion of that kind of a lifestyle to happen in any rural community, no matter how big or how small, and that's the nub of the issue here.
What efforts do you think can be made on a remedial basis to have this put right?
Well, we have to look, Sean, at urgent repairs to the bridge. I mean, obviously safety is the first issue. We don't want any accidents off this bridge. Limerick County Council, it would seem, are ultimately responsible for the for the maintenance and the viability of the bridge, so we can't risk any loss of life or any serious injury. That is the first issue. The second issue, of course, and almost as important, would be the maintenance of the lifestyle of the people at either side of the bridge. So that would require urgent repairs.
Well, I suppose the shock, what I do with the word shock, it came as a shock or a bombshell to us when we got this notice on Friday, and there's no doubt about it. It has upset a lot of things out there, particularly the people that use it and use it daily, and maybe different times in the day. So I think it's a greater shock to those people. Yeah. To me, it's more of a business from the Clare side. It's an amenity from our side, and I think you have gone through it all. I'm not going to go through it all from Mass to schools to trains to everything on the Castleconnell Hotel. So it's a major shock to the people.
It's also one of the most picturesque bridges that one could find, erected by the army around 42, 43. You can't go to an artistic exhibition without seeing it, but taking everything into account, it's obvious that people are so uptight about it, they're not going to allow it to be closed, no matter what your manager says.
Well, that is the feeling of the people. But I mean, in fairness, the manager has a duty and major responsibility for the safety of the people. I mean, none of us want to see drowning or injuries out there off of that bridge at the moment, and he has a responsibility, as once the report came before him, that is dangerous. Now, my major concern would be, on my worry, what I would be asking, if we could have some means of getting people over and back across the river and to carry out the repair works immediately.
Maybe some people will want another report done on this bridge. They may not just be prepared to take one consultant's report.
Well, Sean, I'm not aware of the situation yet. I would like to speak to the county manager to hear his views on it, and subsequently I would like to hear the views of the people, because I only became aware of this today when I was informed by the council that there was a meeting on here this evening. That was the first knowledge I had about any meetings being called or any problems in relation to Castleconnell. But I'd like to hear all the sides' views, and of course it must be a very difficult situation when people are coming out in such large numbers to ensure that the bridge is kept open.
But Joe, you're going to get two different views here. You're going to get a legalistic attitude and approach from the manager. That's what you're going to get. And when you go to the people, you're going to feel the human touch. How are you going to handle that?
Well, in situations like this, we are here now at the situation, but you can imagine the situation, what would be like if somebody's life was lost at the bridge as a result of an accident. I mean, say, we can understand the feelings of people today. What would the feelings of people be if there was a tragedy there as a result of the bridge collapsing? And what would be our position? So I'd like to hear the views of everybody concerned. The main, something which is of paramount importance is the safety of people, and I'm sure that contingency arrangements should be made if the bridge was considered too dangerous for the use of people. What should happen is that the repair should commence immediately, and there should be alternative arrangements made where the people could cross the bridge at this point.
The people in Castleconnell and in Clare at the moment want urgent repairs done to this bridge, that it should be the first thing that should happen.
Well, we raised that issue, Noreen, the other night, the meeting that Noreen called, and the mood of the meeting, over 200 people, was let's get it and let it be kept open. So I put that to the manager, let it be kept open in relation to the remedial action that would be needed just to fix the deck and to fix the handrails. And the manager said that he had gone back to the consultants as request from me, because that was the mood of the meeting, and he said the consultant said that they couldn't agree to that it was imminently dangerous.
We spoke to Michael Murtha. Of course, Michael is the PRO for this group, also working with the ESB Fisheries, and he has been responsible for the wonderful work that you see on this river. The falls that you see in the development for fishery is all down to his good work, and Michael now is continuing to work for the people of the community.
I'm afraid we got bad news last night, and on top of that more bad news today, and we're getting a very negative response from the Limerick County Council especially, and we believe now at this moment some of the local representatives are meeting them. They've refused to meet, we'll say, a delegation from the community itself, which is a bit sad, because I mean it's local government, a local body, and surely the local community should be able to see a local authority and a local body. Well, I find that a bit sad, and I'm sure if these officials come out here, they'd see the level of opposition there is to this attempt to close the bridge, and indeed if they had attended the meeting up in the Castle Oaks, they'd have been made aware of it. And the only good thing I see out of all this is it has encouraged the local community to come out in strength to support a bridge that they love, and a bridge that's very important to them in every walk of life. It's important for people going to the doctor, the dispensary, the post office. For some of us, it's probably of less importance. It's a beautiful recreational walk for the people of the village.
I'm told that one of the items you didn't mention as yet, that a lot of Clare people use the railway station now at Castleconnell to go to Dublin.
Right, you see, the more you think about it, the more you discover how important it is. And indeed, since this thing started, I've learned a lot more of how important the bridge is in relation to things like that. The Castle Oaks, for example, as well, has a leisure centre, a swimming pool for children. Children come across to that. And you could go on, Sean. It's, you know, it's a lifeline to the people in Erna and Summerhill and the other side of the river. A group of consultants, engineers, punching company, are supposed to have done the survey. But we learn now, for example, that the diver is only an ordinary diver. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, Sean. We know, you know where we come from in relation to trade unions and workers. But I mean, was he qualified to assess the damage in the underneath of the pillars? I don't think he was, because I've spoken to engineers, and the modern way of checking underwater structures is with a modern camera, and then the camera is processed onto a video and the damage can be inspected by qualified engineers.
From the manner in which you're speaking, would it be fair for me to say that you might be looking for an independent inquiry and a report into this?
Well, that thought has crossed our mind, Sean. And indeed, I have already spoken to a qualified hydro engineer. I won't say who he works for, but I'd be hoping that they'd come back with a very qualified assessment of maybe what needs to be done.
I live in Summerhill, the Clare side of the river.
And how often do you use this bridge?
I would use the bridge at least twice a day, every day, and that's 4 times. Like, you know, I would come over in the morning to the village for what I'd need in the line of shopping, and I would come over in the afternoon with my nephews, and I'd use the swimming pool, and he'd come over for soccer training, and we use it every day. Our doctor is here, our chemist is here. All the facilities that we use are here in the river, and my children use the bridge all the time. They used it going to university to get the buses on this side. We don't have any bus service on our side. They used it to get the trains in and out of town, even if they're going to socialise in Limerick to catch the 8 o'clock train from Castleconnell. So to us, like, it's, you know, this is our village more so than the village of Clonlara, because the village of Clonlara is 45 minutes away. Castleconnell is 15 minutes walk from our house, from here to the train station in Castleconnell. We're absolutely shocked because we got no warning of it. We always knew that the bridge needed repairing. It's obvious, you know, to the naked eye that it needs repairs, and they have neglected it for years, and then suddenly they decide to shut it with no immediate plans for repairing it at all, and we just can't survive without it. I mean, the old houses that are around here, and you'll see the old prints, and in 1942 when the bridge was built, as it says here on the wall, by the army. Before that there was a ferry. There was a ferry since the 1700s. The ferry only stopped when the bridge was built. Now they're closing the bridge and there's no service. And there has been a service between the two communities for over 200 years. And now they're doing away with it completely. And we just cannot survive without it, really.
Do you feel like other people have said that if they had some doubt about the stability of the bridge, that they should have put something in train before they ever started this?
Well, I feel myself that the real reason that they're closing the bridge is they commissioned the engineer's report, and he had to put down what his findings, and I believe that the county council, the reason that they're closing the bridge is they're afraid of liability, far more so than they're afraid of what's happening with the bridge, and that if they were to set the wheels in motion, they could have the bridge repaired straight away. I had a look at the report myself. £40,000 to make the bridge immediately safe is what the quote is from the engineers.